So hi and welcome. It's day one of Reboot's F Word Challenge. So welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for clicking on the link today. It's fantastic to see you. And you should have seen your email that today says, this is the starting point. So what we mean by that is we want you to get really, really clear on what it is that you're feeling. And I think fear is an emotion that can so often cloud lots of other things that we're feeling, that it can be really difficult to kind of see what's really going on below that. You know, it's very easy, isn't it, to say I feel afraid.
Yeah, I think.
But does it always feel the same?
Yeah, we sort of lump it together, don't we? We know that it's a negative feeling, but we're not always sure whether the thing is fear. You know, is it a fear of the future? Is it just that we're feeling a little bit sad, etc.? So yeah, it's really important, I think, to think it through, but also to write it down is something that we've talked about.
Absolutely. So you will have read your email today, which has your action and your kind of comments in it. So that's exactly what we're asking you to do today, is to get really clear around what it is that you're feeling and to write it down. So to help you, if you click on the link, what you will see is we've got a feelings wheel, which I personally love because it really opens up. You know, we often say I'm angry or I'm sad or I'm afraid. And actually there's so many different emotions underneath that I find it really helpful to identify the differences. And to start to be really, really clear about it. And we're asking you to write it down because that which isn't measured doesn't really get done. And that's the same with your emotions and your feelings, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's something about writing. The writing process is quite cathartic. So I think just actually, you know, physically kind of having a pen and getting it out of your mind, I think that in itself actually is, you know, will make you feel better once you've done it anyway. But actually, you know, as you say, it kind of helps people to get really specific about what it is that's going on internally, which means that we have a better chance of actually tackling it.
Absolutely. So, you know, we have asked you to kind of just write down 3 words today, the 3 top words in the way that you're feeling, no judgment, you know, just, and they might feel contradictory because sometimes they can. I know sometimes I feel really, you know, isolated, but really connects with people. It can feel contradictory. But the reason that we're kind of getting you into this habit is we're going to be asking you to do this every morning as we move through the next 10 days, just to get a level of clarity and level set around where you are. And that kind of leads on to, I suppose, our first tip of the 10-day period, is journaling and the power of journaling, because every kind of self-help guru, business kind of leader or kind of mentor that I've ever come across has talked about the power of journaling and how it's helped them achieve their goals. So we were just chatting before this started playing around whether we both journal in the morning. And certainly I have started to during this period, different periods of my life, and I found it really helpful. So Cheryl, do you write anything down?
I don't currently write down. I will do as we go through the next 10 days that I'm on the journey with everybody else. I did, for most of last year, I spent all of that time journaling, and that's because I was going through quite a year of transformation, sort of myself, kind of personally. So I used a journal, which was like a plan around a journal, and I wrote in that pretty much every day. There are probably some days that I missed, but yeah.
And what did you find were kind of the benefits of that?
I mean, certainly for me, my days, I felt more, I don't want to use the word productive because obviously it's not all around kind of what you do and the things you get out of it. But I would say that a lot of the exchanges I would have with people, whether that were meeting or just kind of social conversations, there was a lot more sort of depth to them. There was a lot more richness, and I was clearer about, you know, why we were having that conversation, and even in terms of emotions, you know, what needed to come out of it, and just being more in tune to what they were thinking and feeling, you know, just because I'd gone through that process of kind of journaling and thinking about things in a much richer way.
Yeah, and I must admit, I found journaling through this period of time that we're all kind of in at the moment massively helpful, because we were actually kind of laughing. I have an older friend of mine who journals, and a couple of weeks ago I was feeling really miserable, and she said to me, oh, this was just like week 2.
Yeah,
you know, there's ups and downs, and it really helps me to kind of feel it in a wider context. So, you know I'm not always going to feel like that, and I think what would be really fascinating for you when you write down these 3 words every day is how those words kind of ebb and flow and change, which is one of the reasons we really encourage you, do use that wheel so that you're not just writing sad every day, you know, or miserable. You know, find the words that really mean something for you, and just, you know, see how that feels to really identify it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's, we are asking you to do it every day. I think it's really important. Obviously, we won't be sitting in fear for the next 10 days, but in order to kind of move to something, we need to know where we're starting from. And that's why it's called, find your starting point, because we've got to acknowledge where we are and embrace it so that we can actually then move forwards.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for watching this today. This was day one. We've loved seeing you. Do use the resources that are below, as we said, that feeling wheel. Do get yourself something that you can write in for the next 10 days. So whether that's just on paper, or whether you've got a beautiful notebook, or whether it's Post-its, I know someone uses. And the thing I would say is do put it somewhere where you can keep it really private, because these are obviously, kind of your feelings. Yeah. You don't have to censor them. These are just for you. So you have to share them. Just start from now, writing those down, those 3 every morning. And that's all you have to do today.
Absolutely. And obviously, if you want to get in touch with us, we are here. So head over to the website or just drop us an email back on the address that you got the email from.
Fabulous.
Okay. All right.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.